Okay guys, here we go again. And in our last video we talked a lot about the split command. We got some basics down on how to run it, and I was playing around with it here in my mouse model, but I'm going to do it again for you in this video because there's a little bit more accuracy I wanted to apply to my split operation, and I wanted to just kind of spell that out for you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of run through it again, and I'm going to do my best to stay engaged with you while I do this, but it is a complicated process, so please bear with me as we kind of head into what I'm sure will be a little bit more of a focused operation, meaning I won't be kind of narrating every step of the way, so please keep your eyes peeled for what my mouse is up to, because we're going to knock this out, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be splitting out this centerpiece into its own solid body and applying appearance to it, and we're going to do that right now. So here we go. I am going to first of all just scroll through my design tree and find the side view curve that's running the 3D curve that defines this bottom edge here, and I'm going to show that curve. And then I'm going to start up a new sketch on my right plane, and I'm going to use that shown curve here using the convert entities command to copy that curve into a new sketch on the right plane. And then I'm going to grab my spline tool, and I'm just going to connect a couple of extra curves to the ends of this sketch, curvature continuity applied. And that's just going to confirm for me that when I run this thing through the model, it's going to extend all the way through. Alright, so there's that like that. Now I'm going to use the offset entities tool, which is here, and it'll be grayed out if you're not inside of a sketch, so you have to be editing a sketch for the offset entities tool to pop up. So if it's grayed out, then just edit the sketch and it'll turn on. Okay. So I'm going to turn that on, and I'm going to offset this curve, and the minimum measurement is always 10 millimeters. We want to set that to something like, I don't know, let's go 0.5 millimeters and see what that looks like. And excuse me, let me just undo that because there's a lot we just missed in that. Offset entities. Let's look at the offset entities command manager here. There's a bunch of stuff you want to make sure you've got checked. First thing you want to do is pay very specific attention to this arrow here. This is going to tell you which direction it's going to offset your curve. And so since we're doing this one here, we want to go up from there and get it off of the seam. And you can hit the reverse button to kind of flip it back and forth if it helps your brain understand what's going on here. And then you want to make sure that add dimensions is turned on. Okay. If it's turned off, you won't be able to go back and edit this offset later on, so you want to have a dimension that you can adjust later on, so make sure that's checked. And then the last checkbox is that construction geometry is created from the base geometry, and what that means, as I mentioned in the last video, it takes this start curve and turns it into a construction line. It won't affect your model. Okay, once that's all set, we're gonna approve that, and we've now offset our curve, so we can go ahead and perform our split operation. So we're gonna go split, and it's going to just pick that up right away. We're going to go split selected bodies, select the body we want to split. We'll go cut bodies. We'll get the flags to show us that we're splitting our model into two pieces. Very good, just like that. We'll put a couple of check boxes here to tell the computer, yes, I see that you've split my model into two pieces. I'm really happy about it, and I'm going to approve that. Okay, and there you go. So there's our first little part line right there. All right, now I've got underneath my solid bodies folder, I've now got the two bodies that I split my model into, and I can hide or show them using these visibility buttons here. And these are going to become your best friend as we move forward, because we're going to start editing these solid bodies independently of each other, and we're going to need to get the other ones kind of out of the way. Okay, so let's actually do that. Let me just hide this bottom one, and I'm also going to hide the sketch here. Excuse me, I edited the sketch instead. I want to hide it. There she goes. And I'm going to hide this one also. Okay, cool. So now I want to, again, go to the 3D curve that is running the top of this edge and use those curves as my guide. I'm going to show that curve. I'm going to start up a new sketch on the right plane. I'm going to go convert entities. I'm going to create a new sketch off of this one on my right plane. I'm going to throw some extensions on there. It goes like this. Have to hold down the control button in order to get curvature as an option. And then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to click over here and I'm going to add an extension to this guy. Alright, like that. Now I'm going to offset that curve. Don't forget, like me, that you have to be editing the curve in order for the offset tool to turn on. And so let's just see if we can get a preview here. There you go. And let's just flip it back and forth a few times to see. Okay, I want it to go down, and let's just have it go down 1 millimeter. And that seems about right. All right. And then we're going to go split, direct editing, split. We're going to use this as our tool. The body that we're going to split is going to be this top one. We're going to say cut body. It's going to give us the flags to tell us that we're cutting this into 2 different pieces. We're going to say yes, I approve that by clicking these 2 boxes. Okay. And then we're going to hide this curve, and we'll hide this guy too. All right. And then you can see what we did. We just split our model here along this line, so that's fantastic. So then we can start to hide other parts of the model so we can focus in on the split that we've made. All right, and so this is going to be the material break. All right, and so I can go ahead and just double click on that and add a new appearance to it. And I'm just going to add a dark gray to it, just like that. Okay, and now when I reveal all the parts of my model, I've got a nice, perfect material break right off the rest of my model, and that thing is looking fantastic. I may need to make some adjustments to the offset distance of the curves that are running this split, and so that's really easy to do now because I've got the dimensions shown. So like for instance here, like say I wanted to push this split line up a little bit. Well, I've got this dimension hanging out where I can just double click this and I can say, all right, let's have it, instead of 0.5, let's have it be a full millimeter up. Okay, and then this one here, I didn't actually see the change. Maybe I gotta rebuild. There she goes. Okay, like that. Perfect. Okay, so this one, maybe I want to push this one up a little bit. I can go back to the curve that's running that split, and I've got the same thing. I've got a dimension here that I can adjust. Come on now. Get this right. Let's see, it's going down 1, so let's have it just go down a little bit less and say like 0.5. Good. Prove that. And if you don't see a change right away, you can always look down here at your design tree, and there's this little rebuild button, and this is just going to rebuild your model with the new dimensions that you've changed. And there's also a rebuild button up here, which you saw me hit, and there's a hotkey for it too, which is Control B. So you can hit Control B, and it's going to adjust your model back up. All right. So this is looking really, really good. I think I just want to push this one down actually a little bit. So I'm going to go back down to that one, and I'll edit this, and instead of going up 1, we'll say 0.75. All right. Approve and rebuild. And that's looking a lot like the mouse that we are trying to build. So I'm going to approve that and save my file. All right, and we're just moving right along. We're getting to the point where we're going to start adjusting all the different parts of this, the different solid bodies of this model, and that's what we're going to do in our next video. All right. So anyway, thanks for playing along, and give this a shot in your own model. And if you run into trouble, don't worry about it. This is a complicated operation. That's normal. The best way to handle that situation: create a new file, apply a split operation to a much more simple piece of geometry, and just practice, practice, practice. And then we'll confident that you understand the tool, and you understand the offset entities command, and you understand how to adjust the dimensions of the offset, and you understand how the split tool is working within your design tree, you know, creating new solid bodies in your tree up here, then you can come back to your mouse and apply everything that you practice to the mouse, and it should go smoothly. All right? So, okay. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you in the next one.